The NBA used to be all about power and mid-range shots, but now it's a three-point shooter's world. Teams are launching threes like never before, and if you can't shoot from deep, you're getting left behind. The game has completely changed. Welcome to the three-point era. The early days of basketball, before the three-point line existed, basketball looked very different. Teams focused on scoring close to the basket, relying on layups, hook shots, and mid-range jumpers. Players didn't take long-range shots often because they weren't worth any extra points. Instead, the game was all about big men dominating inside, fast breaks leading to quick buckets, and offenses pushing the tempo to get easy shots. Despite this, scoring was actually higher in those early years compared to when the three-pointer was introduced. That's because teams played incredibly fast, taking a lot of shots in a single game. Back then, the stars were usually point guards or shooting guards, and their job was to control the pace and create quick scoring opportunities. It was a fast, exciting style of play, but something was missing. There was no real reward for shooting from long range. The birth of the three-point line. Speaking of its origin, the idea of the three-point shot first appeared in 1945 during a college game between Columbia and Fordham. A man named Howard Hobson, a basketball coach and researcher, believed that shooting from long distances should be more valuable. He wanted to give smaller players a way to score without having to challenge taller defenders near the hoop. So, in that game, a line was drawn 21 feet from the basket, and any shot beyond that was worth 3 points. It was an interesting experiment, but the idea didn't immediately catch on. Years later, in 1961, the American Basketball League became the first professional league to officially introduce the three-pointer, setting the arc at 25 feet. Other leagues, including the ABA, American Basketball Association, followed, using the three-point shot as a way to make their games more exciting and different from the NBA. The ABA's goal was simple: more entertainment, more scoring, and more fans. Finally, in 1979, the NBA decided to give the three-point shot a chance. It was introduced on a trial basis the same year Magic Johnson and Larry Bird entered the league. The line was set at 23 feet, 9 inches at the top of the arc, and 22 feet in the corners. Many people believed this rule change would completely transform the game. Some, like Golden State Warriors owner Frank Lemuley, even called it immoral, saying it would ruin team basketball. But in reality, not much changed at first. The NBA's slow adoption of the three-pointer. When the three-point line was first introduced, teams didn't use it much. Players weren't used to shooting from that far out, and coaches still believed in the traditional way of playing, getting the ball inside for high-percentage shots. In the 1979 to 80 season, NBA teams only attempted about 3 three-pointers per game on average. For over a decade, the three-point shot remained more of a side option rather than a main strategy. Some players, like Larry Bird and Reggie Miller, were known for their ability to hit threes, but teams still didn't build their offense around it. The focus was still on post play, mid-range shots, and strong defense. The 1990s in a temporary change. By the early 1990s, scoring in the NBA had started to drop. The game had slowed down, with teams focusing more on defense and half-court offense. The league needed a way to bring back excitement. So in 1994, they decided to shorten the three-point line to a uniform 22 feet. This made three-pointers easier to hit, and as a result, teams started shooting them more. For a few years, there was a noticeable increase in three-point attempts and makes. Players who weren't known as great shooters started taking more threes, and scoring improved slightly. But it still wasn't enough to completely change the way teams played. By 1997, the NBA decided to move the line back to its original distance, and the game went back to relying on mid-range and post-play. The three-point revolution begins. Everything changed in the 2000s. Coaches and analysts started realizing that the three-point shot was actually one of the most efficient shots in basketball. A three-pointer was worth 50% more than a regular two-point shot, but players didn't have to be 50% more accurate for it to be effective. Slowly, teams started encouraging their players to shoot more threes, and a new style of basketball was born. The real turning point came with the Phoenix Suns in the mid-2000s. Coach Mike D'Antoni introduced a fast-paced offense that emphasized quick ball movement and open three-pointers. Led by Steve Nash, the Suns played at a speed that left defenses struggling to keep up. They proved that taking more threes could actually be a winning strategy. The Golden State Warriors changed everything. While the Suns helped introduce the idea, it was the Golden State Warriors who completely changed the game. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, known as the Splash Brothers, became two of the greatest shooters in NBA history. Their ability to hit deep three-pointers with ease forced defenses to adjust in ways they never had before. Curry, in particular, was a game-changer. Instead of waiting for open threes, he started pulling up from well beyond the arc, often off the dribble. His accuracy was so incredible that defenders had no choice but to guard him near half-court, which opened up the floor for his teammates. This led to a new era of small ball basketball, where teams prioritized shooting and spacing over size and strength. Other teams quickly followed the Warriors' example. The Houston Rockets, under general manager Daryl Morey, became one of the first teams to fully embrace analytics, realizing that three-pointers were the most efficient shot in the game. They built their entire offense around shooting as many threes as possible, setting records for most three-point attempts in a season. The three-pointer today. After the Golden State Warriors revolutionized basketball with their three-point shooting, the entire NBA followed their lead. Now, the game is completely centered around the three-pointer. It's no longer just a tool for certain players. It's the foundation of how almost every team plays. The days of traditional inside scoring, post-ups, and mid-range jumpers are fading fast. The three-pointer has taken over, and it's changed everything about the modern game. In today's NBA, if you can't shoot threes, you're at a disadvantage. Teams now build their rosters around shooting, making sure they have multiple players who can knock down shots from deep. Even centers, who were once known for battling in the paint, are stepping out and launching three-pointers. Players like Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Karl-Anthony Towns are proving that big men need to shoot to survive. If a team doesn't have enough three-point shooters, defenses will clog the paint, making it nearly impossible to score inside. Coaches design entire offensive systems around spacing the floor, meaning players spread out along the three-point line to create open driving lanes. This forces defenders to make a choice: stay close to shooters and leave the paint unprotected, or pack the paint and risk giving up wide-open threes. More often than not, teams choose the three-point shot. That's why nearly every possession now ends with a deep jumper, even in fast breaks where players use to drive to the hoop. Instead of finishing at the rim, many players pull up for three, knowing the reward is greater. Analytics proves the three-pointer is king. Along with this, the rise of analytics has only fueled the three-point revolution. Numbers show that three-pointers are simply more efficient than mid-range shots. Hitting 35% of three-pointers gives a team more points than making 50% of mid-range shots. With that in mind, teams have eliminated most mid-range attempts and focused on either taking threes or attacking the rim. Appreciably, the Houston Rockets were one of the first teams to fully commit to this strategy. They built an offense that revolved around either shooting threes or driving for layups, completely cutting out mid-range shots. While their approach had flaws, it proved how valuable the three-pointer had become. Other teams quickly followed, and now almost every franchise prioritizes shooting from deep. The shift to small ball. Because of the importance of three-point shooting, the way teams build their lineups has completely changed. In the past, most teams had dominant big men who controlled the paint, but now, many teams play small ball to maximize their shooting. This means putting smaller, quicker players on the court who can stretch the floor and knock down threes. Not only this, the Warriors perfected this style with lineups that featured Draymond Green at center, allowing them to play 5 shooters at once. This strategy forced opposing big men to step out to the perimeter, making them uncomfortable and taking them out of their natural defensive positions. Other teams quickly adapted, and now traditional big men who can't shoot or defend on the perimeter are struggling to find a role. Defense has been forced to adapt. But that's not all. With offenses built around the three-pointer, defenses have had to adjust in major ways. In the past, teams focused on protecting the paint, making sure opponents couldn't score easy baskets inside. Now, the top priority is defending the three-point line. Coaches emphasize switching on defense, meaning players guard multiple positions to prevent open threes. However, even with these adjustments, defending the three-point shot is extremely difficult. Players like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, and Luka Doncic can hit deep threes from almost anywhere, making it nearly impossible to stop them. The moment a defender gives them even a little bit of space, they launch a shot. This forces defenses to stay glued to shooters, which opens up the floor for teammates to cut to the basket or get open shots. The fast-paced, high-scoring NBA. Well, because of the three-point boom, the pace of the game has skyrocketed. Teams push the ball up the floor quickly, looking to get open three-pointers before the defense can set up. The days of slow, methodical offenses are gone. Now, teams prioritize getting up as many shots as possible, leading to higher scores and more exciting games. Consequently, the three-pointer has made the NBA more entertaining for fans. Games are faster, scoring is higher, and dramatic comebacks are more common. A team can be down by double digits, but a few quick three-pointers can erase the deficit in seconds. This creates non-stop action, keeping fans engaged from start to finish. The future of the three-point era. In the end, the question now is, will the NBA try to limit the dominance of the three-pointer? Some believe the league should change the rules to encourage more mid-range shots and inside scoring, arguing that the game has become too predictable. Ideas like moving the three-point line back, adding a four-point line, or even restricting the number of three-pointers a team can take have been discussed. But for now, the three-pointer remains the most powerful weapon in basketball. Players are taking more threes than ever before, and there's no sign of this trend slowing down. If anything, it's only going to continue evolving, with players developing even deeper shooting range. Will the three-pointer continue to dominate? Or will the NBA find a way to bring more balance to the game? Comment your thoughts below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.